What if you have the cramps and have to go to bed?
Isn't something wrong if your period doesn't come every 28 days?
Is it abnormal if the amount of flow is always changing?
Are we expected to suffer and still go about our business as usual when we have the curse? What are the best hygienic protections?
How do you know when you're starting your menopause?
Do the nerves always go to pieces during the menopause?
Let's clear the fog once and for all by letting one of your own medical officers answer these questions, but one at a time. First, I want to say that there's no need to consider menstruation a curse. It's just nature's way of ridding your body of its preparation for pregnancy. This whole process should take place as painlessly and as easily as digestion. The fact that it doesn't with some of you may be due to a variety of reasons. And that brings me to that question about cramps. When you stand and sit incorrectly, your abdominal organs are so crowded that they have no room to function efficiently. But when you stand and sit correctly, they assume their proper place and don't interfere with your natural functions. If your posture is good and your abdominal muscles firm, you will suffer less pain during menstruation. Now, as to your question, is there something wrong if your menstrual periods don't come every 28 days? The normal menstrual period can easily vary between 22 and 40 days, though the usual time is 28 days. The duration of the flow usually lasts from 4 to 5 days, but there's no need for alarm if it lasts only 2 days or as long as 8 days. These variations depend on the individual. The amount of flow also varies with the individual. With some women, it's only scant staining of a few pads for the entire period. For others, it's saturation of from 6 to 8 pads a day. But profuse flow most generally takes place the first and second days. A radical change of climate can bring about irregularity in the menses. Women who move from tropical to winter climates find that they may begin skipping periods until they adjust themselves to their new environment. Again, changes in habits will also cause a great change in the amount of flow. This girl would stop worrying if she knew that her flow had increased some because she had changed from a sedentary to a physically active job. So you see, there are many causes for irregularities in the menses beside the obvious ones of pregnancy and menopause. If your periods are irregular, it's a good thing to go to the medical officer. The choice between the external pad and the tampon is a purely personal one, and depends largely on what you find as a safer and more convenient protection for you. Since the chance of body odors is greater at this time if you use sanitary pads, change them often, and take frequent baths and use deodorants. And it isn't necessary to douche after your period or at any other time unless you've been advised to do so by your doctor. Artificial cleansing tends to destroy the body fluids that take care of this cleansing process naturally.
How do you know when you're starting your menopause?
The symptoms are much the same as those of adolescence. Nervousness, menstrual irregularities, circulatory disturbances, and unbalanced glands. But adolescence seems a wonderful period as we look back, doesn't it? So there's no reason why life still can't begin at 40. And it often does. I think many women would lose their fear of menopause if once they realized that menopause means only the end of their childbearing life, and not the end of their sexual life, their attractiveness, or their usefulness.
Forward, march!
So you see, there's no need to get excited about normal female functions. They're just a part of your life. You can always take them in your stride.
That's all.